Welcome to the GCN show, brought to you by Wiggle.
Hopefully my sign language is slightly better than my pronunciations, otherwise I have no idea what I've just said. But anyway, thank you, Kern, for your introduction. Coming up this week, are brakeless fixed gear bikes safe on city streets? Hank and Chris try and find out.
We've got news from the Tour of Flanders, Flanders bike tech from Lloydie, and we talk the battle for the soul of e-bikes.
Do e-bikes have a soul, James? Interesting. This week in the world of cycling, we learned that even if you've never won a pro race before, it doesn't mean you can't land the big one. Step forward Alberto Bettiol of EF Education First, who solos to a fantastic victory at the Tour of Flanders, his first ever win. I mean, like, first ever pro win.
One of many, perhaps.
Well, yes, you would think so.
We also learned that Ali Denham, who is pioneering the new sport of extreme bike packing, is swapping the cliffside paths for,
What is that, James?
According to Ali, that is an aqueduct on the Trans-Ecuador mountain bike route. And look at that, it looks insane.
It does, doesn't it? That is one for my bucket list for sure. Right, now about a year ago or so here in the UK, fixed gear bikes were dragged into the news after a fatal incident involving a pedestrian. Now, riding a bike with no brakes on the wheels is illegal, but law enforcement has tended to turn a blind eye to fixed gear bikes and fixie culture. With good reason, I guess, because incidents are very few and far between. But how safe are those bikes really, though?
Yeah, and to find out more, Chris and I headed out armed with one fixed gear bike with no brakes and one bike with brakes, and we went out to do some emergency stops.
For a while now, we've been wanting to know if fixed gear bikes without any brakes are actually safe out on the open road.
Not with us on them, so we've had to find somewhere suitable to test it out. There have been a few stories in the news over recent years questioning the safety of fixies, and we thought there's only one way to find out just how safe they are.
Yeah, so we got two bikes, one with brakes and one without, and we're going to put it to the test. Chris and I are going to ride side by side, and we're going to start off from this bench and we're going to end at that bench. And when we hit that bench, we've got to brake. And it's the first one to break, I guess.
Who's your money on? We should mention that in most of the world, it's actually a legal requirement to have at least one fully functioning hand-operated brake. But you do see fixies out there, well, quite often with no brakes on them whatsoever.
You do, but is it safe?
Well, I guess we'll find out at least who can stop the fastest.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, back a bit.
All right.
There we go. Okay. It's like rad race all over again.
Harder than the rad.
I know.
3.
You're going to beat me. On your marks. Set. Go. And stop.
You've actually not come to a stop.
So I guess it does take me a little longer to stop than you.
A little bit. I reckon it's taken you nearly 4 times the distance. Look, it's at least 2 and a bit bike lengths further, which is quite a lot when you consider, you know, if that had been a child running out on the road.
Yeah, well, that's true. But there are some pros to riding a fixed gear bike. I mean, they're easy to maintain, they're cheap, and they do make you a good bike handler.
Yes.
And also, you do have to anticipate the traffic because you can't stop on a dime as you can with brakes.
And in your defence, if you were out on that in the public roads, you'd probably adapt how you ride, knowing that you can actually stop as quickly as you can when you've got a really good front brake. I mean, most of the braking force is going through the front of the bike, so you didn't stand a chance, did you?
No. And to be honest, it is illegal in the majority of the countries to have one brake at least. And so if you've got one brake and you've got the power of the legs, then I'm going to stop.
You'd stop just as fast, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be no difference.Maybe we should try that next time.
Well, there you have it. Are they safe? Probably they aren't as safe as those, but if you had a brake on, then they at least as good, hey?
So in conclusion then, James, if the bike is legal, it's probably safe.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yes. Saying that though, I'm probably not the best person to be, well, testing fixed gear bikes.
Why does that, mate? Because you seem pretty adept at fixed gear racing. 4th in Rad Race, 30-something in Red Hook Crit. That's pretty good in my book.
Yeah, I think I did well in those just because, well, I just couldn't stop. I was committed.
Right, well, fair enough. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comment section down below. Are brakeless bikes actually okay to ride? You know what to do. Let us know your thoughts. It's time now for your weekly inspiration, that part of the show where we get to show 3 of your amazing photos and you get the chance to get your hands on 3 vouchers from our mates over at Wiggle. 50 quid for third, 75 quid for second, and £100 for first. Who's in third, James, this week?
Third place, we've got a picture in from Henry in Melbourne, Australia, of his son Peter riding a balance bike, and he says, passing on the passion for cycling to the next generation. I'll get there in the end. And he's also a GCN addict, preferring to watch GCN than cartoons.
That's cool, man.
How
That is
cool
a
is
great
that?
photo. Nicely done. Right, a deserved third place there. Next up, we got this from Mayor Marcus. Now, that is not how I feel when I sprint, Mayor, but there we go.
Sky's the limit for you, Simon.
That is, no, 100 watts is the limit. No, anyway, that's a fantastic shot. I love that. Really, really cool bit of...
How long must it have taken for him to line up so perfectly like that?
Well, yeah. He's got 75 quid though, coming over
Yes,
from our
indeed.
mates at Wiggle, so that's it, worthy second place there. And right, who's the winner this week?
Right, this week we've got a cold one in from Michael in Poland. And look at that for a photo. I have to say, that has to be a really cool photo, but I would be quite nervous going through that tunnel.
Yeah, it's like something out of Indiana Jones, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what they say about icicles? It's the perfect murder weapon. If one of those drops on your head, no one is gonna know how you died. It'll just have like a puncture wound and a puddle of water next to you.
Yeah, and on that note, well done for winning.
Yeah, if you want to get involved with GCN Inspiration next week, then you can either submit your photo via the GCN Uploader, the link to which is in the description, or use the hashtag GCN Inspiration on Instagram. And we enjoy looking at those, so make sure you keep them coming in.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
Cycling shorts now, and while we've already mentioned that for the men's winner of the Tour of Flanders, Alberto Bettiol, it was his first ever pro win, the same cannot be said for fellow Italian and winner of the women's event, Marta Bastianelli, because she is the European champ, but it was still, however, her first ever Flanders victory, and what a victory it was. She got into that final selection and then made the sprint look like a formality.
Yeah, what a ride. And in second place was Annemiek van Vleuten, and in third place was Cecily Uttrup Ludwig, with also a really good ride in third place.
Absolutely. Right, now the dust is beginning to settle from Flanders, but apart from the winners, one name has stood out among all others, hasn't it? Mathieu van der Poel, who put in an incredible ride, the Corendon Circus rider, punctured, then crashed whilst riding along waiting for a spare, managed to rejoin the peloton, not only do that, get to the front, then get in the split, then get fourth place, second in that group, full of the best riders in the world.
Absolutely incredible ride by the young Dutchman in only his third ever World Tour race.
Yeah, we do have words to say about his choice of white shorts.
Well, you say that, Si. I am actually a big fan, and I'm gonna be honest, I think they look great, especially when you're well tanned and you're a class rider. I think Van der Poel, you keep up those white shorts, mate.
Sorry, mate. you think that white shorts are okay?
Yes, they can be a little dodgy in the rain, but they look great. They're classy, white, crystal clear. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there.
Yeah, crystal clear. That's the bit. That's the bit that no one wants. Anyway, Van der Poel is young. He will hopefully learn in time. Technically, you're still kind of young.
Well,
you might learn as well.
He's that good, mate. I don't think he does need to learn.
No,
I mean, he
fair
is
enough.
a 2 times world champion on cross. He's an absolute hitter on the mountain bike, and he's, well, one of the strongest riders on the road at the moment.
If not the strongest, yeah.
Exactly. And this Canyon video really does sum it all up. Right, before we leave the Tour of Flanders, we should probably have a look at our predictions.
Well, hang on a minute, mate. We haven't got time.
No,
we haven't got time this year.
I'm afraid we have. And we're going to look at well, Lloydies, all 3 of them.
3?
Yeah.
My personal bet is Wout van Aert, Matthew van der Poel, Bob Jungels.
Nope. And Marty?
For Oliver Narsson.
And Si?
It's Matthew van der Poel.
Not just wrong, but you also put a curse on my favourite rider, Paul Mathieu van der Poel.
Mate, I don't think that was the curse of GCN. I think that was his shorts that were his undoing, if I'm honest. But anyway.
Now, from racing we all know and love, to one we all know, but few of us love at the moment, and that is e-bikes.
Yes, that's right. But while the jury might be out among you lot, the battle for who controls e-bike racing is hotting up. So the UCI, the International Cycling Union, have organised the first ever e-bike world championships this year, but so too have the FIM, the International Federation of Motorcycles.
Yeah, what is it with these federations and their mixed up acronyms?
Yeah, that's true. Not exactly intuitive, is it?
No.
But anyway, I'll be honest, James, I don't really care who controls e-bike racing, but I do think this is quite important for like the wider fight for the soul of e-bikes. I mean, you'd think it might have ramifications for, you know, for the law, for access, things like that, because if it's controlled by the Motorbike Federation, then you'd think it would be a motorbike, wouldn't it? Whereas if it's controlled by the International Cycling Union, then it's like a bicycle with a motor.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. But if I was a betting man, I'm not gonna bet past the FIM because FIM, UCI.
Yeah, that's right. A bunch of skinny cyclists versus a motorbike gang. Yes, I think I'd agree with you there. I know who's going to win that one.
Yeah.
Right, now over on Twitter, Cycling Science once again linked to an absolute perler of a piece of research. This time, it was published in the Journal of Cleaner Production. Now, I will refrain from saying it's my favourite. I'll be honest, I'd never heard of that one before. But anyway, this is all about how to find smooth roads using science.
This is totally bonkers.
Yeah.
And so for that, I'm gonna bring in my laptop. Right. A total of 19 pavement sections were scanned using 3D digital camera. These 3D models were then 3D printed, which are used to conduct the pressure, film test using a self-developed pavement tie interface test system. Maximum peak spacing, radius ratio, and fractal dimension in consideration of the area characteristics, pressure amplitude, peak spacing, and interface.
Wow, that is great, Hank. What did it show?
Well, so it basically showed that dense asphalt is far more comfortable for cycling than the gap-graded one.
Wow. And that is peer-reviewed science.
That is, so yeah.
They should just have asked my butt cheeks. They know a lot about asphalt. Asphalt, in fact.
Yeah, I hope that's all they know, Si.
Pretty much.
And moving swiftly on from that, I think we should mention that our Cobble Classics limited edition t-shirts, which were actually my favourites, were also yours too, seeing as we've only got 20 left in stock.
Yeah, when we say limited edition, we mean limited edition. Some sizes have already gone, so make sure you head over to the GCN shop to get your hands on what is left. Now, some better news though when it comes to availability, because we've got some just announced events coming up. That's right, fresh off the back of the success of GCN Mallorca, and it was absolutely mega,
Yes,
wasn't
it was.
it? We've launched 2 more taking place this summer.
Yes, we have, and I've only just got my voice back from GCN Mallorca, and I've got 3 months to get ready for the next one, which is in Alvoriaz in the French Alps, which is on the 1st to the 5th of August, and then we go into Saalbeck, which is in Austria, which is on the 22nd to the 26th of August. So I'm very much looking forward to those.
Absolutely, some great riding, questionable entertainment because it kind of comes down to us, doesn't it? But a lot of grade A socialising.
Yeah,
that might have been where you lost your voice.
On that note, mate, did we show people the pics from our holiday?
Holiday snaps?
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Well, here's a rundown.
It is a shame, isn't it, that Lloydie's late night karaoke didn't make the director's cut. Yeah.
He
Anyway,
does have a voice.
he does indeed, yeah. Not after that many mineral waters. Anyway, over to John.
And we've got 2 pairs of Elite Nero smart rollers to be won. Now these, I reckon, are a certain viable alternative to a direct drive turbo trainer because they can be linked up to any virtual world and training platform, so you can undertake even the most grueling training session. And ultimately, they are also going to teach you the art of souplesse. So that's the really cool, smooth pedaling style that you always see the pros having. So to get involved, click on the link in the description down below, and well, good luck.
How cool does this bike look? This is of course the Canyon Aero CF SLX of Dutch national road champion Mathieu van der Poel. As well as being the Dutch road champion, he's also the champion of the Netherlands in cyclocross and mountain biking too, as well as being the current world cyclocross champion. So he's used to the rough stuff. Bit of bling for you now. This is of course Olympic champion Greg van Avermaet's bike, the giant TCR, which he'll be using at the Tour of Flanders this year. Not much difference versus his standard setup, I have to say. Even the tyres are reasonably narrow. I think they are 26mm, but they look even slightly narrower than that. The bike of 3-time world cyclocross champion Wout van Aert. This of course is Bianchi Ultra XR4. No major modifications versus what he would normally use. I have noticed that he's got shifters just underneath the tops there, so that he's able to change gears here at the back when he's going over the cobblestones, when he's riding on the tops. Apart from that though, it's all fairly standard and what you would see on a normal road bike that he's using during the year.
Now it's time for hack/bodge.
That's right, and first of all, it's a bodge of our very own making. Last week, Lloydie and I said how amazing this Cog Hog hack was, and you guys didn't get to see it. So here it is. This is Andrew's hack on a SRAM Force 1x rear derailleur. So there you go, that's what you've been waiting all week for. And to my mind, that still looks like a hack.
Right, Si, on to this week's.
Yep. Wow.
What's coming in first?
Wow, so this is from Vladimir. He says that's the first time I've seen a wooden block as a bike seat. And you know what? That's the first time I've seen a log as a bike seat as well.
That looks incredibly uncomfortable, and I wouldn't recommend it because splinters are not nice.
Teach your butt cheeks a thing or two about asphalt though.
Yeah,
wouldn't
stay off the gradient.
And it would also save your prostate. There's not, you know.
You will leave that one there, Si.
Okay, all right. Just put it out there. It's still a bodge, but you know.
Yeah, it's definitely still a bodge.
I can see the merits.
Right, Paulie from Newton, Massachusetts, in his pain cave. I needed to get my phone out of the sweat spray zone of my Zwift setup, so I put it on a music stand by drilling a hole in a cork. Stays solid and I can pick it up and move it around while I'm cycling. That's quite a good idea, that.
That is quite a good idea, actually. Yeah, I've got to say, I think that's probably a hack.
I reckon that's
my mind
too, yeah.
Yeah, as two sweaty dudes that know what it is to get your phone wet.
You do not want that, and then phones don't work and you miss your power ups.
Exactly, yeah, there we go. Right, next up, we've got this one from Reese. He said his shifter broke, but he was still found a way to actually change gear. And look at that, he's got two what look like inline...
I'm not really sure what's going on
barrel
there.
adjusters. So yeah, admittedly, that would be, you know, shifting where you have to get off and then twiddle it a little bit.
Could you twiddle it? Like lean back, twiddle?
That's a big lean. I wouldn't lean. I wouldn't twiddle those whilst riding. But anyway,
don't twiddle when riding.
I mean, technically, he might have had those on his cables anyway. So yeah. I mean,
what are we saying?
I think that's a hack. That could be a get you home hack. So there we go.
Hack for you then. Next up, we've got a picture from Jeremy from Fredericksburg in Virginia, the US. And he travels with work and he brought his bike along, but he needed some way of cleaning it.
That looks pretty neat to me. Nothing like cleaning your bike in a hotel room, is it? But that...
It's quite clever, that, actually.
It's very clever.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
I'm going to use that, mate.
I wouldn't have thought of
That
that.
is full-on travelling hack.
Yes, it is.
Good work. Good work. Right, next up, we got this from RJ. This is kind of almost from the travel hack to the actual hack. This is his homemade work stand. He's made out of an old computer chair and fitted a roller from a trainer so you can leave the rear wheel on whilst washing and pedal at the same time. I'm sorry, that's
fantastic.
amazing.
And also, the picture's phenomenal and the bike looks awesome too.
Yeah.
That Pinot does look absolutely insane.
100% hack.
Yes.
The only thing I would ask is there enough resistance in the twizzly bit? Because you don't want it to spin too much, and if
otherwise you'll be like flanneling it.
Yeah.
You'll be spinning.
But I noticed you have taken the caster wheels off that chair, so he's not going to be like
rolling down the driveway.
Yeah, you get your jet wash out, and
Hold
suddenly
on!
your bike just disappears.
Get the lasso out! I'm coming!
Yeah, okay. Anyway, that's a hack. Full-on hack from me.
We got one in from John in Compton, California. I like to flex on my friends who don't have a custom bike like me. I also get a lot of street cred from riding this to school. The female organisms love it.
Wow. Well, he doesn't stipulate what species of organisms, but anyway, there we go. What a lowrider, John.
At that.
Yeah.
Arms in the air like I just don't care.
There we go. On that note, we should probably end Hack or Bodge here for this week. If you've got something to rival John's organism magnet, then make sure you submit it using the hashtag GCNHack on Instagram or on Facebook or on Twitter, of course, or using the uploader. The link to which is in the description, but you already knew that.
Yeah, they do, Si. Now time for the caption competition and your chance to win one of these, a GCN Camelback water bottle. And if we remind ourselves of last week's, which was Nico Denz and Steins Vandenberg changing a rear wheel.
Well, we think that's what they're doing, James.
Yeah.
We didn't know. Lloydie suggested it had something to do with a big ring.
And who was the winner, Si?
Well, we stayed well away from any captions about big rings, but Pierre-Olivier Prou has suggested this, a new prototype of a biomechanical group set from Shimano. See, I like what you did there. You kept it clean, but it was also insightful.
It was.
And all-knowing.
And well done to you, Pierre, because you got one of these winging its way over to you, so do get in contact over on our Facebook page.
Right then, this is this week's photo for you to get your teeth stuck into. This is Peter Sagan. Can I get started, James?
You may.
In the absence of Lloydie, brace yourselves. Peter Sagan unfortunately didn't bring his wattage bazooka to the Tour of Flanders, but he did have a bazooka of sorts.
Yeah, he did.
It's like a t-shirt bazooka, I think. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Well, anyway, if you want to win a GCN Camelback water bottle, then
you can do better.
Put your caption entries in the comments section down below, and we will, as ever, pick our favourite for next week. Before we get on to what is coming up on GCN over the next 7 days, we will take our customary look back through some of the amazing comments you've been leaving under last week's videos, starting with these underneath the GCN show, where we unfortunately broke the news that Emma would be doing fewer GCN videos.
Yeah, and on that note, Dan Lazaro comes in with, Matt does cyclocross, Matt leaves GCN. Emma does cyclocross, Emma leaves GCN. And who's next?
That is a very good point. Who knew that cyclocross was such a powerful discipline? Well, that's what you think, mate. Right, Dan Bisgrove, in reference to the hack / bodge of drying your shoes in your lizard's terrarium, has pointed out that actually this isn't a lizard, it's a dragon, a bearded dragon to be a little bit more precise, brackets Pagona, and if it in your shoes, they will come out smelling worse than when they went in. Believe me, how do I know this? Let's just say, don't smell my shoes. Dan, why did you let your lizard poo in your shoes? Why would you do that, man?
That is a great sentence.
Yeah.
Right, we got one under the GCN Epic Ride. The only American tea protocol is to dump it in the harbour.
Wow, very true. Slightly contentious that one as well. Not quite as contentious as, well, the British tea protocol, it turns out. Jeremy made all kinds of mistakes there. He angered people from Cornwall, he angered people from the upper class, the lower class. Worst of all, he angered everyone with the weakness of the brew, but anyway, don't judge him. But
it did look like water.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? It wasn't. I don't know, anyway. I think it was a herbal brew or something. Right, we also had lots of comments under the video about the route that we took. So a quick reminder, GCN has a page, a profile over on Komoot. So it's definitely worth a follow because all of our routes that we do in videos go up there. So you get a nice little bit of insight as well as getting your hands on some cheeky little GPXs. Anyway, one last one from that video. This was sent in from Hans Mandelholm. He says, boo-hoo, England. Oh, let's talk about rain, rain, misery, rain, wind, cold, blah, blah, blah. Welcome to Sweden. Beep. Can't fault Hans, he's got his head around the lingo. Yeah, absolutely. Right, anyway, what is coming up on the channel this week?
Right, Wednesday we've got how to boost your 5-minute power. Thursday we've got the Paris-Roubaix preview show.
With added beer.
Yeah, Friday we've got Ask GCN Anything.
And then on Saturday, we've got Lloydie's amazing video that he shot over in Flanders, where he was allowed access behind the scenes at Team Sky, where he was confined to the roadsides, holding up bidons and spare wheels, which I can't wait to see. And then on Sunday, we've got another amazing behind the scenes access. This is to Bora Hansgrohe. How does Peter Sagan's bike get prepared for the Cobbled Classics? Yes, check that out. Yeah. Monday, the GCN Racing News Show will undoubtedly be dissecting Paris-Roubaix. How does it unfold? And then Tuesday, it's the GCN show again.
Yes, it is. Quick week flies by. Right, it's coming to the end of the show, but we have got time for Extreme Corner.
Oh, yes.
And this one comes in from our mates over at GMBN, who did an amazing piece on Greg Minnaar, the 3-time world champion and all-time mountain bike legend. Check out this.
Oh, smooth! Smoother even than Lloydie doing karaoke at the end of a big night in GCN Mallorca.
Yes.
Right,
Definitely.
do make sure you check that full video out over on GMBN. Also give this video a big thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. And if you want to watch some riding that's not even on the same spectrum of smooth, you can watch me and Jeremy Powers rattling down some epic English gravel in that video we've just been talking about.
Yeah, and if you want to learn how to have a proper English cream tea, then you should probably check out that video as well.
I'm afraid we gave more questions than answers, James. But anyway.